Yes. Hello. Welcome back to my messy living room floor. We got a special project that I'm finally gonna continue after 4 or 5 years or however long it's been. That's right. We're gonna put a video card in the Power Mac G5. My other Power Mac G5, you might remember I have two. I've got the 1.8 dual processor and a 2. Is it 2 gigahertz or is it a 2.2? Dual core, so single processor, dual core. A lot later, the latter of the two having PCI Express instead of PCI-X, which is this, or sorry, yeah, PCI-X. PCI-X and AGP. Well, Apple's fun special AGP. So we're going to put in, unlike how I had originally planned, I was going to flash a Quadro to be a, 7800 GT or whatever it was. Those are really hard to find because you have to get the ones with the right memory chips in the right spot, basically, is the way you figure it out. And you can flash those to Mac firmware something something whatever, and they will work in your G5. But yeah, they're very hard to find. But what's not very hard to find is a Radeon X1900 XT, and these are very cheap, and they're just about as good. You know, certainly a huge upgrade from the, what is it, 6600 or whatever's in there, 6200 actually, probably. NVIDIA card, not a powerhouse for the time, and well, not a powerhouse for the time, to say the least. So we got this, and this is a, as I said, an X1900 XT that I believe, if I have the right one, this is an actual Intel Mac. So once they move to the the Mac Pro, not the Power Mac, but the Mac Pro, and Intel processors, they would have, possibly come with this card, or at least this was compatible. So this is not compatible on a PowerPC Power Mac G5 until you flash the firmware for the PowerPC. And that's pretty easy to do in theory. I started this video already like a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, and things went wrong, and I thought I'd screwed up. But turns out I'm just an idiot. So we're going to try and do it right. I kind of prototyped making sure some of this stuff would actually work correctly this time. And I think we're going to be fine. But we're still going to go through it, from start to finish. And hopefully nothing goes wrong. I've got kind of a jank setup. It's about as jank as my old setup, except in the previous attempt at this video, I had to go find a new power supply because I didn't have the 6-pin pci-e plug on this beautiful old Seasonic 350 watt that was going to go into my NAS, but it didn't. So here we are with it still on the living room floor from where it used to be from 2 weeks ago. And it's going to work fine because I also found this 6-pin to Molex, dual Molex adapter, and that should do just fine as long as that adapter's not roasted. It should be fine. So let's get started. I'll pull out the Power Mac, I guess. Sure. Oh, and here it is. Oh man, at work I move a lot of very heavy computers around because people seem to, for some reason, need to have tempered glass all over the place and very bright lights to keep them up at night or something. it's the wrong side. You know, lifting those up head level onto racks. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I gotta say, these things are heavy. Very heavy. And having owned 2 of them through my last time I've moved house, I don't appreciate the weight, but I do appreciate the style. Anyway, so, all right, there's that, which I won't need after I'm done today. We've got the crummy, dusty, this is gross, I'm gonna have to clean that out, G-force that will be soon replaced. Blah, 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 you get the idea. I don't need to show you this. You'll see it eventually. Oh, and a fun fact about these later Power Macs is they don't use the normal IEC whatever connector that you would use for power. They use the fancy distressed face big one because power. And yeah, so don't lose this because it fits in there very nicely. And I bet they're not, well, you could probably get them off of Amazon for a few bucks these days, but 6 or 8 years ago, probably take you a minute to find one of those stupid power plugs if you didn't have it. So, it kind of needs it. Does it actually need it? I don't know. So, our little test bench, utility bench, sitting here, excuse me, on the floor, pardon me, is some mini ITX board. It's a Core i5 4000 series, kind of like the NAS build. This was a candidate for the NAS build, also saved from e-waste, but a reject just because I ended up using a case that was plenty large to fit the other board, which is also very tiny, just not this tiny. Yeah, anyway. So I want to plug this in and turn it on, but I need to double check first that the BIOS is set to use the integrated graphics as its main video output. So first we're going to turn it on, make sure I got that setting correct. I think I've already done this before, but we need to make sure it's actually set to that, otherwise we're not going to get video out of either port, because we're certainly not going to get any video out of this, because it's not for that, you know. As far as I know, there's this Mac card, even though it's Intel Mac, has no idea what this is, and this has no idea what it is, except on a very basic hardware level of being able to communicate with. It's not going to put video out. It communicates well enough that we can flash the firmware. Yeah, got it. All right. All right, so I've changed the memory in here. I just pulled the stick from the other setup, so it's angry. Press F1 to run setup. We just need to make sure somewhere in here graphics config. Okay, yeah. Initiate graphics adapter IGD. Pretty sure that's what I need. And I don't care about the rest. We'll save that. Should be all we need. Suppose I should probably plug in the flash drive that has my stuff on it, which should be this one and this card. Yep. So let's plug that in. That's not a USB port. Plug that guy in. We will reboot it. Make sure that we can actually boot into free DOS or whatever I put on here. Looks like we are, maybe not. Ooh, you know what? I might need to change. I could just manually select it. I think I don't want to use the UEFI. Hey, there we go. Okay, so we got FreeDOS. This should all be fine. It's gonna try and load some crap, and it doesn't like it. This is just a base return to DOS. Error reading, what? Oh, we're fine. I'm using a micro SD card into a little USB card reader thing, not an actual flash drive, so sometimes it's a little jank, but I think we'll be fine. And we have ATi Flash on here, and it runs to, well, normally I'd do a /i, but there are no ATi adapters, or any adapters except for the integrated graphics. So, now we get to do the fun thing. Guess I can move the camera. No, we can try. We can put forth an effort. We gotta shut this down. Man, that is dark, isn't it? It's still dark. All right, screw it. You gotta shut it down using our handy dandy key. Now start your car. And we can plug this guy in here. And it seems to have turned on immediately after doing that. I'm not a fan of that. Don't do that to me. The fan is going to be very loud. I'm already yelling in anticipation. That's just how it's going to be. So we got to plug in our power adapter, which is, you know, about as high of quality as you would expect one of these crappy things to be. So the pins don't actually like line up. They're all wibbly wobbly in there. There we go, we got it. I'm gonna get this shorty little guy all the way over here, plug it into the back, and we don't need to connect any power yet. Kind of want to let this sit up a little bit. How about we get a little box to give my GPU some support and not block the fan. Never mind, it sucks that way. We're good. We'll turn it on now. Finally. Yep, she's loud. Oh, okay, so this is our first boot. It actually managed to boot directly into FreeDOS, which is not what I was expecting since I manually selected it last time. But yeah. Let me let me try to get the camera like slightly configured here. Shut this light off. Looks like you can read that. Cool. ATi Flash /i. Hopefully we will see this card. Hey, and there it is. Very good. So our random old DDR3 i5 setup can see that this Intel Mac Radeon card is there. And now we just have to follow the thing. So we got a /p, sorry, a -p. We need to force it because you try to do it without the -f, which is like forcing it to just do it anyway. It's gonna be like quite confused. Actually, hold on. We're gonna back up this to x1900 XT2. No. -2. I don't know if I probably don't. You have to use 8.3. What is it? ROM? .rom, not com. Oh, I gotta give it a number. /0. Wait, how do I? Hold on. Do I just need to do a 0? Yeah, that's what it is. I was like, it's not a, yeah. Okay, so we've backed up the firmware off of the Radeon, and now we need a dash P and a dash F, adapter 0, and I forgot what the ROM was called. I'm just going to do that. Which one is it? I'm pretty sure it's Radeon 1 or 2. Yes, I'm going to go with 1 because that's dated 2006. So we'll do that, and then we do, so just the name. I think it's just the name. Yes, so Radeon 2. No, 1. .rom. That should be it. I don't think the case is sensitive. 3, 2, 1, go! And that's it. So, if we go back and do an I, what does that show us? I wonder if that actually has changed yet. It kind of maybe shouldn't, but I guess it's not going to tell us a whole lot, is it? But we're done. we're technically done, other than to put it into the Mac and see if it works. So I'm going to shut it down, turn it back on. We're going to see what shows up. Hopefully it's still recognizable. And then we'll throw it in the Mac and hopefully get video. Yep, still there. All right, let's put it in the Mac. I'd say we can probably turn all of the lights back on. Wait, that one's already on. This one won't help that much, but who cares? Okay, so unplug all this crap. Set this off to the side. Get rid of that. And bring in the beast. Unplug some things. In addition to that, just so we're kind of more ready. How's my framing? It exists. Okay. Yeah. Something that's annoying, sorry, about these computers is the screws don't actually, like, you can't access them straight on because this is in the way. The screw is too far back in there, and it's just kind of hard to actually screw those in because you got to kind of get it in the right angle, and the screws got to be like this, and your screwdriver's like that. It's stupid. And from the previous attempt, I already have the power plug plugged in, which is kind of a pain. It goes way back up in there. This screwdriver is the closest one that I have. I think I actually lost a screw. Oh, that's right. I dropped one of these screws. It bounced around a little bit. It sounded like it landed right around here. And it wasn't there. And if I shake this computer around, you don't hear anything. And I spent 5 or 10 minutes with a flashlight combing every single corner of this thing. And I'm just gonna hope, I'm gonna pray that that screw has somehow found its way into a different dimension that is not this one, because I don't know where it is. I think we're gonna be okay, but if we're not, now you know why. This has the old school PCIe lever where you lift up instead of out. And here's this. Now, I guess I don't need to thread that through. We're going to plug it in first. And it's got these nice slots I think one indication possibly, you gotta get that in first. I believe maybe the PC versions of the cards that you might have gotten out of like an old Dell workstation or something have more of this red bracket on them. Like it's got like an extra wing that comes off. Don't quote me on that. I have seen those cards, and I have seen Mac cards. This is a Mac card that was actually, it's from eBay, and the seller said something about they owned a repair business or a school or something or whatever, and they used this and their other one that was for sale as test cards. So they were used, but not used, but possibly abused. So, you know, hopefully they're fine. This one, the edge connector seemed pretty clean. Like it didn't seem like as worn out as stuff that I use at work that gets plugged into a computer once every other day on average, possibly multiple times, 6 or 8 times of reseating a stick of RAM. I know what those edge connectors, you know, the pads, the pins, whatever you want to call them, on the edge of a slotted card look like, and they last quite a while. Surprisingly, you can insert and pull out those things thousands of times and they'll be fine. But it is wear and tear, and hopefully that's not a factor. Doesn't appear visually that it would be a factor on this card. And now the impossible part. Okay. Maybe we're going to save the screw for later. I do not want to drop that one. I already lost the other screw, as mentioned. And this ain't going anywhere because it's held in on both sides, nice and straight. It's at the right height, basically. Yeah. So, in order to hopefully shut this thing up, stick that back on. I'm going to move this cable a little bit. There we go. Oh. Mac quality. Make sure we're actually all the way in there. I'm even going to put this back on. Don't worry, I'll put that screw back in. It's going to be fine. Yeah. I think we're ready. Move this out of the way, stick our fancy power plug in it, because it's, you know, it's powerful. And we're going to stick it in a DVI port number 1 for extra luck, I guess. We'll even give it a mouse and keyboard, because why not? There you go. Hopefully, the television will cooperate and be fine with what I'm about to send it. Or possibly not send it, but yeah. Here we go. Do a little zoom for a good time. Probably try to rotate this camera stand a little bit. It's still crooked. I don't know if it's going to matter. Can we turn it on? Probably shut this light off. Possibly this light. And yeah. So how's everyone's day? I heard the Mac chime. That's good. The lack of video that I currently have, not great though, I will admit. Not currently thrilled about that part. So, yeah. Oh, hey, look at that. It just took a little bit, you know? You just gotta give it a minute. It's a long clip. I'll come back when we've... Nope, we're there. As super secret password on a blank installation. You'll never guess what that was. I really need to change the resolution. I don't know what this is. I think it's 1024 by 768 and then stretched. No, this is widescreen. In the previous attempt at this video, and I will probably try to insert some clips of that, I installed Doom 3, which is kind of hard to find, slightly almost, but maybe not so much these days, for the Power PC, that specific binary of it. You know, it used to be kind of hard to find, and I think the first time that I procured it from the internet, I mean from a store locally, I had to, there were some shenanigans involved in transferring some files from a different one, and like you use the demo and then you patch it and something like that. Could be mistaken. What am I doing? Displays. I need to be able to read this. Resolutions. We've got one resolution possible currently, and it is 1440. I see. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to run this through my Denon receiver, which is not capable of 4K. Or maybe I just need a driver or something. No, I don't know. I'm going to do that because I know I can get 1080p out of this. So we're going to shut this down. I'm going to come back after... Oh, I also need to charge my camera battery, of course. Going to come back after I've got it all plugged in and we're on 1080p so that maybe we can actually read stuff, especially through the camera, but I can barely read this. It's so jank looking that something's off, and I just asked to restart it, so now it's going to take even longer. BRB. Okay, we're back up, and yeah, we got terrible resolution, but at least it's legible, and I can change that. So, yeah, once again, I'm running through my receiver right now, and that's only 1080p compatible, and it seems to be pretty good with weird inputs. It talks to the device pretty decently as far as letting it know what it wants or can do, and it also puts up with a lot of crap because yeah, it's good. Unfortunately, apparently that's all I get. Well, shoot, maybe there's some software. Certainly not a software update, I don't think, but all right, dual 2.3 gigahertz. That's what we're working with here, and hopefully this will show up graphics and displays as a 1900. I think I was saying XT over the course of this video. It's actually a GT or something. I don't know, man. 128 megs of RAM. Is that it? Is that all you get? Huh. That doesn't seem like very much, does it? That doesn't seem like very much at all. Even for this time. I think my 4870 was 512. Maybe this is correct. Anyway, I don't know how to change that resolution, because that kind of sucks. But let's see if we have any sort of hardware acceleration. We will open up the old Doom 3, see if it runs. I can just run the time demo thingy, the benchmark, and we can compare that to my old footage, which I did run at whatever it naturally set it to. Nothing seems to be happening, that's great. But then I also changed it to 1080 as the baseline. So hopefully I've got both numbers, and yeah, we'll have to figure out what to do with this in the long run. I'm kind of disappointed that the resolution's not cooperating. So let me see if I can get Doom running, and maybe it won't work. I don't know. All right, okay. We don't need any of this crap. This trying to download stuff and things, and it's unnecessary, because on here I'll come back later. Holy moly, it worked. It actually worked. I think this is in focus. I can't really tell. I found a driver from, I think, Macintosh Garden or wherever, and it was a x1900 driver. And I was like, well, I mean, this should be compatible with this 10411 anyway, right? So this probably isn't going to do anything. And then it started booting up after the install and froze for a second, and I was like, well, that's bad. And then the fans got quiet, and I was like, yeah. And then we're greeted with a proper resolution. Look at that. Hell yeah. We're winning. We are winning, Dad. Got some stuff there. Right on. Can we launch Doom? That would be cool. That would be pretty swell. Because it didn't launch last time. Oh, baby. It works. And you can hear the faint sound of the game through the Mac's internal speaker. Yeah, I gotta charge my camera battery more. I just did it for a few minutes there. And we're gonna run the benchmark. It's gonna be good. But it's gonna be better than it was. You know, which is good. Okay, we're back. I have reinserted the original GeForce 6600 because we're going to run that benchmark first. If you hit whatever the Mac equivalent of Control-Alt-Tilde is, Control Command or Control Option, it's one of those two things, you know. You can open up the thingy, you know, that I can't seem to think of the name of because I'm looking at something else. Anyway, time demo 1, and then you need to add use cache, other cache. The first time you run the time demo, textures and stuff will not be like put into memory or something like that. So no matter what the frame rate you have, you'll probably get a horrible stuttering. So if you do this, it should cache all of those textures and crap ahead of time, and then you'll get an accurate reading. So you can either do that, or you can run the benchmark time demo twice. But if you don't want to sit through it twice, the first of which is quite subpar, and you'll lose like a significant number of frames per second over the course of the time demo, just use that. Use cache. So this should run nice and smooth. I mean, it's as smooth as it's going to be. We are locked at 1024. So yeah, 1024 by 768. I believe, at least on PC, there's some widescreen mods for this game to get those resolutions. I'm not sure, because I'm pretty sure I had to use those on Quake 4 back in the day. Well, the last time that I played that on a PC. Or something like that, and maybe there's the same for Doom 3. I'm not sure if there's the same for Doom 3 for Power PC. So I'll look into that some other time, but right now we're just going to get a relative benchmark, so we're just checking the difference between two cards. We're not looking at the actual numbers, just the change, the delta. And we'll see what we get here. And we get 30 frames per second. You know, totally playable, but it did slow down. That's an average. 30 isn't that great, is it? Especially if it's just running at like 45 for some easy sections, and then a guy shows up and starts throwing fire at you, and then now it's down to like 18. You know, 30 average, not great.
30 solid, it's pretty good. So let's put in the other card, the new card, the X1900, quote unquote GT, whatever it is, supposed to be, and see what we get there.
Okay, and here we are back with the Radeon. Time demo 1, use cache. Spelled it wrong again. Here we go. So this should seem significantly better. The load time's still going to suck because it's going to have to cache everything, but saves us time in the long run. Any minute now. Oh wow, yeah, that is significantly better. Double check to make sure my resolution was the same. I had to set it back to 1024 by 768 because it had reset, probably because the graphics adapter had changed. OS 10 got a little pissed off as well and put me at 26 something by 1440, and I believe since I can't send dual link from DVI to HDMI to blah 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 blah, it looks like absolute garbage, which was the graphics setting that I was stuck on when I first plugged this directly into the TV. And there we go, we've got 49.9 frames a second, which is a bit better, significantly better than the 30 that we got last time. So that's cool. Pretty cool. This card costs like 30 bucks or so off of eBay. There's a lot of them out there. And it's a pretty easy upgrade if you have all the other stuff, basically another computer. Well, at least another PC sitting around, regular PC, with the right slot, PCI Express slot. You can flash it, doesn't take very long. Make sure you are either, if you can do this as well with by keeping your GPU in the computer. If you have a hard, God, I can't talk. A regular GPU in your computer, and you have a second slot that is capable of taking a 16x length or 8x or whatever length, full length PCI Express card. You can stick the Radeon in the other slot. You're not technically using it for anything, but ATi Flash will recognize it, and you designate which card you want to flash with the firmware that you are about to provide, and you can do it that way. But if you're like me and you're using a board with integrated graphics, just take out your GPU, stick the Radeon in there, but first make sure that your BIOS is set to use the integrated graphics first or exclusively or whatever. Somewhere in there's going to be some setting if you have integrated graphics, and it will ignore the Radeon and not try to use it, because if it tries to use it, it's not going to work, but your motherboard's going to try to send all of its video stuff to it anyway. So here we are with that little upgrade. Worked out pretty good. Well, worked out a lot better than last time. There's a couple hiccups. I'll try to link the where I got the driver in the bottom and a quick what do you call it? Someone has a very good, concise, short tutorial on what to do and the commands and stuff, and it's super easy to follow. So if you're wanting to do a project like this, read that. If that sounds plausible to you, it's worth a shot. It's pretty easy. If it's confusing or something, then I don't know, maybe it's not as easy, There we go, we've got our 1900
Slowest zoom ever. Cool. Anyway, that's all I got this week or this year. Who knows when I'll put up another video. Hopefully I'll do some more in the future and not disappear for years on end. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching. Good to see you.